Next question is maybe a bit tricky. I don't know how you're going to answer this, but if you could, I mean, you could pick the UK or America, whatever. Or, what, you know, if you could sort of combine the essence, the best of, say, America or the UK with the best of Japan to make this sort of hybrid, super sort of country, could you think what elements would you take together to combine?
Yes, I know exactly what would make the perfect country. If we're just talking about America, Great Britain and Japan. I love the sheer force of personality of the Americans. That ability to express the individuality is very, very important. Whereas that part of the human is suppressed in the Japanese, according to the the traditional culture and current social practice. So there's a lot of hidden energies in the Japanese that aren't being released. So we have that release in America, which is great. And the directness is great in the American. That's really something that's wonderful. In the Japanese, if we combined that directness and that individuality of the Americans with the Japanese grace and the elegance and the courtesy of manner in the way they conduct their business affairs and any other kind of relationship, that would be a very, very beautiful combination. And if you just added that British sense of humor, that would be perfect. That's perfect, because that sense of humor that the British have is something I haven't really come across anywhere else. It's quick-witted, and it puts everyone in a more relaxed position, and it's really a comforting thing to have in a business environment or any other environment. So
fantastic. That
combination of the three, I think, would be great.
Sounds like a great place to live, actually.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of tips, a lot of our viewers, maybe they're actually, from around the world. Maybe they're coming to Japan to work, or maybe they're already here and struggling a bit, working with Japanese people or living in Japan. Do you have any tips how to get on well here, how to enjoy your stay?
Oh yes, I have a very long list of that, but we don't have enough time. So I'm going to lower it to three things. I would say the first thing is just be yourself. I find it very uncomfortable or annoying when I see a foreigner trying to pretend to be Japanese. It looks strange, and it makes the Japanese feel uncomfortable. It makes them feel awkward. Because it's almost like a comedy, the foreigner's trying to be polite by emulating the behavior, but it's strange. So just be yourself. The second thing is learn a little Japanese. I don't speak Japanese fluently, but a lot of Japanese and non-Japanese have told me I have a very good accent when I speak it. So there's a misunderstanding. They think I do actually speak it fluently. Right. But it's not difficult. Humans have a mind to learn things with. So if you just learn a few polite phrases and expressions, they actually appreciate that. In France, it's a different ballgame. If you go to Paris and don't speak a word of French, you will be abused. So it's better to know French, preferably fluently. But in Japan, it's a little bit more relaxed, but it will make them more open to you. And, it's nice. It makes it easier for yourself to learn a little bit of the language in a country where you're living or visiting. And the third thing is just go with an absolutely open mind. Don't expect a foreign country that you live, work, or visit in to be exactly like your own home. It's not going to be. So if you just go with an open mind and take things as they come, Japan will be a heaven for you. And in many ways it is. It's a very, very beautiful country, very, very blessed country. So.
And I know, talking a bit earlier on, it sounds like you've actually traveled pretty much everywhere and anywhere in the world.
Not everywhere.
But could you give our, I know we're kind of talking about Japan, but could you just give our viewers an idea of sort of places you've been and what you've done and maybe research and so on? Yes.
Probably the countries I've spent the most time in are America, Great Britain, France. I'd say Japan ranks quite high on that. I visited China a lot. And I recently, this winter, I did something different. I went to Indochina. So I did a little tour of Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And I really fell in love with Siem Reap. I know it's a sort of a resort place for people who who are visiting the temples, the most gigantic temple complex in the world, the Angkor Thom and Angkor Wat complex. But it really is a beautiful place. I found the people very, very gentle. And I also have a soft spot for Hawaii. So I like to go there once in a while because it's an interesting combination, Hawaii. 20% of the island is Japanese or Japanese American. And it's a combination of America and Japan. So I kind of feel like I am in my home country or country of birth and visiting Japan at the same time. So it's a good combination of the two in the Pacific, in the middle of the Pacific, between the two countries. So it's convenient. And the only place I've been to in South America is Easter Island, which is technically belongs to Chile. But maximum 2 days on that island is enough. You can drive across it in 3 hours. So yeah, after you've seen the big statues, the Moai.
Do you think of yourself as a kind of global citizen, or I mean, where's home for you?
It's a combination. I try to split my time between America, England and Japan. I really try every year to do that because those are my top three. And also I try to go to France as well. Because the French and the Japanese have quite a few things in common, which aren't probably, it's not as visible to most people. But they have that aesthetic sense, which I like. I love art, and they both seem to have that aesthetic appreciation in common, especially when cuisine is involved, when presentation is involved, which the British can be lacking in a bit.
So yeah, I won't disagree with that. I won't disagree. But I mean, just thinking a bit about kind of a global mindset or thinking globally. Do you have any insights into that? I mean, because I mean, listening to you, it does sound like you're very much a kind of global type of person.
You mean on making one
kind of
entire
a mindset.
culture?
Yeah,
oh,
like
mindset?
a mindset.
Oh,
yeah.
I think the most important thing is, see, I don't expect anything when I go anywhere. I think what makes people disrupted in their psychology or uncomfortable is that it's going to be something different. Well, of course it is. That's why you're going there. You know, people who like different things, people who like new things, people who are not left brain prisoners, people who are artistic, will get along in any country. Believe me, they'll be just fine in any country. It doesn't matter what obstacle they come across. They just have that openness of mind, that flexibility of mind. Whereas most people, depending on their upbringing, their education, their social engineering, they really haven't formed their own personality. So their mind is trapped still. And if it's just released, if they're just let it go and just take things as they come when they go to a foreign country, they'll be just fine. That's how you enjoy life.
When you say they haven't kind of formed their own personality, you mean if you take away everything that's familiar from them,
exactly,
they sort of
yes.
go to pieces?
Yes. Most people are like that. The right brain person or the artist or somebody who's traveled a lot, also military men as well, by and large most military are male, and even the female ones that are involved, they have the most adaptable, most flexible, and most open minds because they're ready for anything. You know?
Pauline, what are you passionate about?
Oh, it's art. I love almost any kind of art, except I'm not so open to modern art. It depends on what it is, but the traditional arts of Japan are very, very beautiful. I like the fact that they do things to a level of perfection that I haven't seen in a lot of other places, particularly when it comes to the traditional things that have a very repetitive and labor-intensive process. So you can tell that these are very, very careful, disciplined people. So I really respect their art as well. But art in general, in any country, is phenomenal. And it's a shame that when funding gets cut or something like this happens, the first thing to go is arts and culture. And that's a real shame because that's the most important thing that makes us human. It's arts and culture.
Amazing. Last question. This is an open question. Any message you like to our viewers?
Oh, well, if you haven't visited Japan, you should come. I mean, it's a delightful place. So I highly recommend, as my constant quotation is, once in your life, before you die, come to Japan. It's really worth it. You'll really love it here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pauline. It's been great talking to you.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. So that's it for today. Pauline, a big thanks again to Pauline Chakmakjian. I'm Adam Kassab from GLOBIS, and catch you next time.